All right, looks like I'm live here. Let me okay, I gotta do some stuff here. Here we go. I gotta oh shit, hang on. There we go. All right, cool. I'm in. Good shit, good shit. Okay, it's working so far. Maybe I should tell people in the Discord that I'm live. That'd be good. Merry Shitmas, here we go. Oh, damn it. Five years in a row. Let's fricking go. Tanker, you made it. Pyro. Merry Shitmas, you guys. High fives and bonus. How are you guys' Christmas so far? So far, so good? Mine's been good. It's been a good day. We had a good morning, and so my buddy Steve from the hockey game from Hell video, the Dine and Ditch at Denny's video, he retired from UPS, and he's moved out here to Nevada. So we went over to his place and hung out, had breakfast, and we got their youngest son, Max. He's, I think, 5 years old. Got him a whoopee cushion. Holy shit, this kid will not stop playing with that thing. It's very fucking funny. It was a really good time. Other than that, it's been chill. It's been really relaxing. I got some pretty good gifts from my wife. She got me some camping tchotchkes that I could really use, actually. Some really cool, like, little things. And got her a couple of good things. Shithead I got him a little Costco house. Let me see if I can grab it. So at Costco for $20, they had like these little buildings, like a little cat house with a scratch pad inside. You can see it. Look at it. It's got the where you order the food, you know. It's got that. But the thing is that he's such a big cat that come here. He can't really fit in anything. He's just such a big guy. I mean, he did manage to crawl inside it and look around. But yeah, he barely was able to fit inside the thing. And we got him a couple little things, like a little heating blanket pad type of deal. And a couple other things. So it's been a pretty good Christmas so far. But yeah, we were hanging out at Steve's place, and I looked at the time like, we need to get the hell out of here. We gotta go. Ow. Ow. Ow, he's scratching me. He's a good boy. You want to go outside? I'm going to let him out real quick. Crack the door open. It's stuffy in here. Here, you want to go outside? It's snowing again out here. Hot dog down the hallway. Yeah, the weather's been crazy so far. Well, you guys want to get to it? Let's get to it. We got a lot to get through. Holy shit. Yeah, we got a lot to get through. So, Tamale boy, how are yous? How are yous? How are yous? All right, well, let's get to it. Evil Toast of Doom. All right, here we go. Here's the first one. This mind-blowing shit was laid when I was around the age of 11 or 12. To set the scene, in the summers, I'd visit my grandparents in Missouri. I used to do that. My grandfather had a cool home theater set up in the basement where he and my uncle would usually watch shows and movies. On the fine night that this took place, while my uncle was sitting at the big screen, blissfully unaware of the horror he had later bear to witness to, it occurred to me that I had to take a shit. To be honest, this shit seemed no different to me at the time, but when I got off the toilet, I was immediately brought into a laughing fit by the size of this turd that was staring back at me. When I say this thing was a world record, I don't think I'll ever lay a turd so big ever again in my life, let alone as an 11-year-old. This thing wasn't as long as a Pringles can, but it sure as hell was as girthy as one, maybe even a bit bigger. Holy shit, at 11? I mean, this thing didn't just cover the toilet hole. It was like trying to force a football inside a coffee mug. It was that big. Perhaps even more shocking was that it came out perfectly in one monstrous log. I didn't even try using the plunger on it. There was no way this thing was moving without a poop knife. Oh my god. Guys, we're starting off great here. Still giggling profusely, I tried flushing it for science. It was totally blocked and the water level started to rise. I tried flushing again. I don't know what magic I was expecting because there's no way this monster was going down in one piece. With this flush, the water level rose to the absolute brim and that devil didn't move an inch. Now overwhelmed with hysteria and the threat of the shit water overflowing, it was time to call backup. Giggling like a madman about to commit a crime, I left the bathroom and made my way to my uncle, who, upon noticing the tears of laughter rolling down my face, paused the show and looked at me suspiciously, as my toilet infamy was known, and he suspected only one thing could bring me into such a hysterical state. Nothing, however, could have prepared him for what he saw. I can't remember his exact words now, but he was in a state of shock when he saw the turd and looked at me in comparison. He attempted to use the plunger on it, but to no surprise, it didn't budge. Now, out of ideas and dreading the worst, we decided to let it sit for an hour to see if it would soften on its own. Your uncle's like, oh, why don't we let that marinate for a bit? Hang on. You want in, you want out. You want in, you want out. There you go. The cat's doing that thing where he can't fucking decide. Yeah, what was half his body weight? I know, you're 11 years old and you're shitting that big? What the fuck? We spent the next hour anxiously waiting until the moment of truth. When the time came, we tried the usual precautions. Flush, wait, flush again, plunger, no luck. Shit! That thing seemed to be indestructible, and by now we figured that there was only one thing left to do. Attack. Thus my uncle geared up, his weapon of choice being a metal coat hanger wrapped in a plastic bag for extra protection. I'll spare you the details, but let's just say it took a few minutes to work, and by the time the toilet was functional again, an innocent coat hanger had just been laid to rest in the trash. If there's anything to be learned from this story, it's always to have a poop knife on hand. Hear, hear. The softening mode works. That's so funny. I'm gonna grab a soda real quick. You had to chop it up with a coat hanger and a plastic bag wrapped over it. We don't want the hanger to get dirty. Oh my God. All right, Bob, this one's from you. Here we go. Yeah, right. Go get a stick from outside. This is not my story. My friend experienced it and typed it out for me to send. All right. A few weeks ago, we had a family stay over for a holiday weekend. Nice people, but they brought babies, which should have been my first warning. Dude, baby shit's the fucking worst. Oh. They stayed in the guest room where my desk is, so I avoided it until they left. When I finally went in to clean, I opened the door and got hit with a smell that stopped me in my tracks. I looked over at the trash can and it's stuffed with dirty diapers and shit rags. just sitting there. They were basically fermenting. Later, I used the guest bathroom, washed my hands, and grabbed the towel to dry them. Halfway through, I looked down and saw brown streaks all over the blue towel. Crusted, dried, unmistakably shit. Why wouldn't they just throw it in the hamper? After I threw the towel in the washing machine with a ton of detergent, but I honestly should have thrown it away. And then the room got completely drenched with air freshener. Thanks for reading. God. You know, don't invite them over again if that's how they're going to treat your towels. That's awful. This one's from Joe. Back when I was 20, during the summer before my senior year of college, I landed an internship at a financial services firm downtown. It wasn't anything fancy, mostly data entry, spreadsheets, sitting in front of a computer all day, but it paid decently and it looked great on a resume. There were 7 other interns behind me, and we were all crammed together in this open office section with rows of cubicles that didn't quite give you privacy, just enough to make small talk feel optional. I know exactly what that's like. When I worked at THQ, is the exact same thing. The panels were only about 4.5 feet tall, and I forgot what game I was working on. And I had a team, and we were crammed in this area called the Horseshoe. And it was like shoulder to shoulder. You know, that's with maybe like a foot on each side of you. We were packed in there like sardines. And there was a big fat fucker that was on my team. He was about 6 foot, 380 pounds. And he was so big and fat that we had to order a special chair for this guy. We had to get a big chair for a fat guy. And this guy, he never bathed. And he always wore the same fucking clothes every day. And he didn't wear deodorant either. And he smelled so fucking bad all the time. Just a bad funk. I don't know if you guys remember like the Peanut cartoons, that character Pigpen that had like that dirt cloud aura all around him wherever he'd go. That's how this guy was. This guy could peel paint off the walls just standing next to a wall. It got to be so bad it was distracting to work, and it's just impossible to get shit done. I went down to the gas station, and you know those air freshener trees you hang from your mirror? I bought 4 of those things, and I hot glued them underneath that big fat chair that he had. I don't think it made things better. It just smelled like overwhelming pine chemicals and body odor. Yeah, it's fucking gross. And I went to the director of QA, Jeremy Barnes. And he had a cunt of an assistant director of QA. God, what was her name? She's a mean fat chick that loved firing people. I was telling them my fucking dilemma about this fat guy. And she started going through like the employee handbook stuff. And she said, there's nothing in here about personal hygiene. I said, well, you need to fucking add it. She wanted to fire this guy for being fat. For fat and stinky. He was really bad. And I said something to him. And I forgot how I did it, but I just said something along the lines of, dude, you ever wash that shirt? He's like, oh, yeah, I got to do laundry. I said, you should have started last month when it was due. He's like, oh, sorry. But our project wrapped up and he got assigned to a different team. And, oh, thank God he wasn't on my team anymore. Oh, I kind of felt like a jerk because like some other QA leads were like looking to recruit people for their projects, and they asked me about him. I'm like, oh yeah, he's good. Yeah, good tester. Right, he's good. I never fucking said the guy smelled like like the Packers locker room. Anyway, All right, out of the 7, 5 of them were people I liked, a mix of chill, down-to-earth college students who didn't take the internship too seriously. Another guy, Eric, was the type who treated the whole thing like it was life or death. He barely spoke, and he was always typing like his keyboard owed him money. But the 7th intern, Alex, was something else entirely. When I first met Alex, he seemed normal enough, maybe a little awkward, but we're all like that at the beginning. He was tall, thin, kind of pale, and had this mop of a dark hair that would always look like it was unwashed. He didn't really fit the finance intern stereotype, but that's not what threw me off. It was the way he acted around me. At first, it was subtle. He'd pop up at my cubicle during the day, lean over the divider in a way that made him look freakishly tall, like 7 feet tall because the cubicle walls were low and only his head would be visible above it. He'd tilt his head slightly, grin with a strange frozen smile, and start talking in this deliberately weird voice like he was trying to sound creepy on purpose. I'd laugh it off awkwardly, pretending I thought it was funny, but I remember thinking it was an odd thing to do in a professional setting. That is kind of weird, right? He'd say random stuff like, "Working hard or hardly working, Ronnie?" in that slow, unnatural tone, and then hold the smile for way too long. Oh, that is weird. The first couple times I figured he was just being quirky or trying too hard to stand out. Some people at internships are awkward like that, so I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. But then it started happening more often. Every single day, at least once, I'd see his head slowly rise above my cubicle wall. Your biggest mistake was laughing when he started doing that shit in the first place. Just roll your eyes and shake your head. Then he'd leave you alone. You made the mistake of letting him think that you thought it was funny. Okay. Honestly, a very good recent comparison of the voice he was doing was the voice of Charlie Hunnam did for his role as Ed Gein. Holy shit, dude. The other interns noticed it too, but they mostly laughed it off. Yeah, they're laughing at you, thinking Alex was being weird on purpose to lighten the mood. I also thought they thought Alex and I had built some kind of rapport that the rest of them didn't build with him. That's because they were smart. There was something about the way he directed it, only at me, made me feel even more uncomfortable. It's not like I treated him any differently. I was like his personal audience for whatever creepy act he's trying to pull. This is fucking funny. Have I heard of Armored MMA? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm a little late to the game in that. I'm a little too long in the tooth. That wasn't really a thing when I was jousting. But there's groups like the SCA and stuff like that where they do a lot of that. So that's where that kind of came from. In Reno, there's a group called the Reno War Rams, and they do a lot of that, and they're really good. If I was like, 10, 15 years younger, I would definitely, put my foot through that door and give it a shot. I would have liked it a lot. I would have tried it for sure. Maybe they have like a seniors, maybe like a seniors group or something for fucking old guys like me. Found out about a month ago with my buddies, and it was, yeah, dude, yeah, it's the real deal. It's the fucking real deal. It's good shit. I'd love to do it, but I'm just way past my prime. I don't even think I'd be good at it, but I would have loved to have tried it. I love that kind of history and stuff, so it would have been nice to actually get out there and try it out, Okay, getting back. As the weeks went on, his visits got longer. He'd lean over and stay there for minutes at a time, staring at me while talking. Sometimes not even saying much, just looking. Holy shit. I'd fake a laugh, say I had to finish a report and hope he'd get the hint. He rarely did. Dude, this is crazy. Then one night, about 6 weeks into the internship, I was at home eating dinner when my phone rang. It was a number I didn't recognize. I normally don't answer unknown calls, but since I was expecting a delivery confirmation, I picked it up. When I said hello, all I heard for a few seconds was silence. Then suddenly, I heard a voice I recognized immediately. It was Alex. The same forced, creepy tone he always used in the office. He said, "The tide's coming in. Pull your boat out of the water." But this time, the voice was a little louder, almost a yell. He dragged the words out like he was reciting a riddle, and then he'd burst out laughing this insanely unhinged laugh before hanging up. That made my skin crawl. The thing that made my skin crawl wasn't just the call. It was the fact I never gave Alex my number. Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh fuck! The next thing I did was text the number back asking if it was Alex, but the text said not delivered. And when I looked it up, it was a landline number. Then that's when I really started to get freaked out. How did he get my number? Why is he calling me like this? Holy shit! Oh my god! Payne, what's happening? It's Crackalack. Welcome in. Welcome to Shitmas. Oh my god! How did he get my number? Why is he calling me like that? I tried to rationalize it. You're trying to understand why a crazy guy's doing the shit that he does. You can't. He's fucking nuts. He's nuts. You can't make sense of it. Fuck, I gotta find my place again. Maybe he found it through a company contact sheet or something, but even then, the way he said that line didn't sit with me. I couldn't stop replaying the sound of his laugh in my head. It didn't sound like someone joking around. It sounded like he was fucking with me to the point of trying to actually scare me. This wasn't just goofy behavior anymore. That Monday when I got to the office, Alex wasn't there. Because he's in your fucking bedroom, dude. Explain to me the world record shit you saw at Target. Okay, well, quickly. This was September of 2007 in Gilroy, California. I was jousting at an event there, and it's a 6-week run. And in between the weekends, during the week, we would go into town to buy things. So my brother, Steve, and I, we went to Target to buy some stuff. As soon as we pulled into the parking lot, we both had to use the bathroom. We went into the bathroom. I went to a urinal to take a leak. Steve went to take a dump. And then that's when he said, you got to come look at this. And I was like, dude, I'm not looking at someone else's turd. But the way he said it was like something like from John Carpenter's The Thing. You know, like, Mac, you got to see this. And it's like, what the fuck? And he was outside of the stall. And it's one of those stall doors that just kind of close naturally on their own. And I just put my hand on it and slid the door open. And fuck, dude. I haven't been the same since. It scared Steve so much that his shit went away and he didn't have to poop anymore. I'll tell you that. And the thing that really blows me away, it's a comment somebody left recently on that video. Other people saw that shit that day. It wasn't just us. Other guys went in there to use that bathroom and they saw it too. Somebody had to destroy it to get you couldn't flush that fucking thing. So somebody had to remove it. And that guy's still out there somewhere. Probably in fucking therapy where I should be. Guys, can you imagine if I went to a shrink and like secretly recorded it in my phone and talked to them about the turd in Target? And can you imagine what the therapist's reaction would be? I think that would be fucking funny. Okay, so where were we? Alex wasn't there. His desk was empty and I didn't see him all morning. I went to our supervisor, a guy named Martin. And I asked him if Alex might have gotten my number through the company. And Martin was very confused, saying interns don't have access to employee info like that. On top of that, they let Alex go at the end of the previous week because he wasn't doing any work and had ignored multiple warnings. That's when I told him about the phone call. He seemed surprised as some of the other interns overheard. A couple of them started nodding and saying that they always thought Alex was creepy, and that made them uncomfortable too. I told them about the weird cubicle visits, the voice, everything. Martin said not to worry, that Alex was gone for good and he had no reason to come back. So that was a little comforting. For the next week or so, I kept expecting something else to happen, a message, random encounter, something, but nothing came. Life at the office went back to normal, and I figured maybe that was really the end of it. Guess what? I bought a can of Pringles yesterday. That's fucking funny. What flavor did you get? Until early one morning. It was a Friday around 5 a.m. Still dark outside except for a thin gray light creeping in through the blinds. I woke up because I thought I'd heard something. Maybe a noise from outside. It made me get up and look out my window. I wish I hadn't. Standing in my... Holy shit, you guys. This is fucking creepy, dude. This is fucking creepy. Dude, we need to do a spooky Halloween fucking stream. You know what I mean? You guys send me creepy stories, dude. We'll do it. We will do it. Holy shit. Standing in my backyard, halfway between the trees and the porch light, was a figure looking up at my window. Even though it was barely light out, I could tell who it was immediately. The thin frame and the messy hair. The way he stood perfectly straight, it was Alex. Yeah, dude, this is a spooky story. For a few seconds, I couldn't move. I just stared at him, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Then, clear as day, I heard him call out my name in that same creepy, performative voice he always used at work. He dragged it out, long and sing-songy. I grabbed my phone, about to call 911, when I saw him tilt his head back and start laughing. That same loud, hysterical laughter like he did on the phone before hanging up. This is like a fucking David Lynch movie. This is a fucking David Lynch movie. Holy shit. He didn't sound right. It sounded like someone completely detached from reality. I shouted through the window, yelling at him that I was calling the police and to get the hell off my property. I also waved my phone out the window. He just stood there for a second longer, then turned and started walking away, still laughing as he disappeared into the trees behind my house. What would he do if he was in my yard? Oh, I'd just fucking start shooting. I wouldn't even say anything. Speaking of shooting shit, I got a brand new red dot, and I'm not sure what gun I want to put it on because I have so many. Yeah, this is totally straight out of a movie. I called the police, and in short, the dispatcher asked me if I was still there. If he was still there. When I said no, she told me to call back if he came back or threatened to break in. Okay, well, fair enough. Yeah, anyways, I started blasting. Yeah, that's just me. Throw my cat at you. He'll fucking get you. Let me see. I never saw him again after that. Not at work, not around town, nowhere. The police couldn't do much since he hadn't technically broken in or made a direct threat. It was one of those situations where he just had to live with the unease, hoping it's over. Dude, this is fucking like creepypasta type shit, man. The rest of the summer passed without incident. I finished the internship. I would fucking move. I finished the internship, and on the last day, my boss pulled me aside to offer me a permanent position after graduation. Nice. At the time, I accepted, though a small part of me felt unsettled about ever going back to that office again. I never told them about what happened that morning. I didn't see the point. Alex was gone, and no one even knew where he'd ended up. Over time, I convinced myself that he must have been dealing with some kind of mental illness or social disorder. Oh, you think? Something that made him act that way. It's the only way I can make sense of how he went from a quiet, awkward intern to standing in my backyard at 5 a.m. laughing like a lunatic. This is fucking gnarly, dude. It's been a few years now, and I moved on from it. I didn't end up with that company. I got a different job after graduation. I don't think about this too often anymore, but sometimes the thought of that image of him in my backyard still skeeves me out. I still wonder how he got my number and how he found my address. What he wanted that morning. I guess it's not that hard to get people's info online these days. All I know is that for a few months in my life, I worked alongside someone who wasn't just strange. He had something way deeper going on, and no matter how many years pass, I'll never forget the sound of him laughing in the dark. It was as if one big joke that only he understood. Whoo, shit. Is that you, Lambo guy? Oh, shit. Oh, hot off the press. This one just came in. My grandmother clogged the toilet. Dude, this is like a novel. The house was very full that day, and the heat from the kitchen had fogged up the top corners of the windows in the living room. My grandmother sat in her wingback chair, the one with the floral pattern that has faded over the last 30 years. She's 90 now, and her movements are deliberate and slow, like she's thinking about every inch that her arms and legs have to travel. We had been smelling the turkey since early morning with a heavy, savory scent that filled every crack in the floorboards. Around 3 in the afternoon, she stood up. She didn't say anything to anybody. She just gripped the armrest of her chair, pushed herself up, and shuffled toward the hallway bathroom. This is the only bathroom on the main floor, situated right between the kitchen and the stairs to the basement. We all watched her go, not because we were worried, but because someone that old moves. You instinctively track them to make sure they don't trip over the rug. The door clicked shut, and the house went back to the sound of football on the TV and the clanking of silverware in the dining room. How long ago did you start? I was busy trying to... half hour ago. It's been 30 minutes. I need to watch a Disney princess movie after that. Dude, yeah, no shit, right? Fuck. Fucking crazy. Time passed differently that afternoon. 5 minutes became 10. 10 became 20, and my mother looked toward the hallway a few times, but she didn't want to knock and embarrass her. When you're 90, the bathroom is a private, difficult place, and we all knew that. Finally, after 30 minutes, the door opened. She walked out, her face a bit more drawn than usual. She looked smaller somehow as she moved back to her chair. She didn't look at anyone. She just sat down, folded her arms over her sweater. A few minutes later, my cousin Jimmy went into the bathroom. He wasn't in there for more than 10 seconds before he walked back out. He had a look on his face that was hard to describe. Not quite grossed out, but very concerned. He whispered to my father, and my father stood up and went in the bathroom, and I followed in after him. The toilet was full. The water was a thick, stagnant color, and it sat maybe half an inch from the very top of the porcelain rim, and it wasn't moving. Usually a bag clog has a little bit of a swirl or slow drain, but this was perfectly still. My father took the plunger from behind the door. He was wearing his good Thanksgiving shirt, so he rolled up his sleeves. He started to work the plunger, but the seal wouldn't take. Every time he pushed, a little bit of the murky water would slosh dangerously close to the edge. He stopped and looked at me. He told me to go get the bucket from the garage, and when I came back, the water had risen even higher, which made no sense because no one had flushed it again. That's when I realized the problem was deeper than the bowl. No, it hasn't. No, I've been streaming for 30 minutes. You just showed up late. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that. I thought you said I've been late. We had to tell the family to stop using the water. Oh, wait, hang on. Oh, no, hang on. I got ahead of myself. I went down to the basement to check the main line. Our basement is unfinished, mostly concrete and old wooden beams. The moment I hit the bottom step, I felt a dampness in the air that shouldn't have been there. I walked over to the floor drain near the furnace and I saw it. There was a dark circle of moisture spreading across the gray concrete. It was bubbling up very slowly from the center of the drain. It brought with it a smell that sliced right through the smell of the roasting turkey upstairs. It was a cold, earthy, rotten smell. I went back upstairs and told my father that the floor drain was backing up. His face went flat. He knew what that meant. In an old house, if the main line is blocked, everything you do upstairs, washing your hands, rinsing a plate, flushing a toilet, just pushes the more waste out into the basement. Yeah, I might want to check on Grandpa. We had to tell the family to stop using the water. This is a hard thing to tell 12 people who have been drinking soda and coffee all day. My mother had to stop rinsing the potatoes. My aunt had to stop soaking the pans. The whole rhythm of the day just ground to a halt. We all gathered in the kitchen, standing around the island, looking toward the hallway where my grandmother sat. She didn't seem to notice the commotion. She noticed. Oh, geez, all the stores are closed and I don't have a Monster, not even a Red Bull. Pray for me. How about some coffee? What's up, John? How are you, man? High fives and bonus. She was looking out at the bare trees in the yard. She's contemplating her life's decisions at that point, dude. We didn't want to blame her, but we all knew the timeline. The pipes were old and her body was old, and the two simply reached to a point of disagreement that the plumbing couldn't handle. Oh, shit. My father called 3 different plumbers. I've heard stories about Thanksgivings. Like plumbers are like the most business they ever get all year round is like they call it Brown Friday. It's crazy. Yeah, this could also be a fucking horror story. 3 different plumbers. The first 2 didn't answer because of the holiday. The third one, a man named Gary, said he'd come out, but it cost 3 times the normal rate. We told him, come on out. While we waited, the basement situation got worse. I went back down with a flashlight. The water had spread now, covering about a quarter of the floor. Oh, my God. It was shallow, maybe only an inch deep, but it was thick. I could see bits of paper and other things floating in it. I realized that the clog my grandmother had caused wasn't just a simple obstruction. It was the final straw for a sewer line that probably had tree roots and years of buildup in it. The sheer volume of what she had produced had acted like a plug, sealing the system shut. I spent the next hour moving boxes of old Christmas decorations and photo albums off the floor and onto higher shelves. The smell was getting thicker, turning into a physical weight of the room. Holy shit. That's fucking crazy. No, she couldn't have been the one that dropped that Pringles can in Target, because that was in the men's room. Now, if it was a grandpa instead of a grandma, we might be on to something here. Upstairs, dinner was ready, but no one wanted to sit at the table. The dining room was right above the basement area where the backup was worse, and the scent was beginning to rise through the floorboards. It was a strange contrast, a beautiful golden brown turkey sitting in the center of the table and the invisible cloud of the sewer hanging over it. We tried to talk about other things like my cousin's new job or the weather, but the conversation always drifted back to the bathroom. Every few minutes, someone would go to the basement door, crack it open, look down, and shake their head. My grandmother eventually asked when we were going to eat. My mother told her soon, but my mother's voice was tight. Gary the plumber showed up at 6. He was a large man that looked like he'd spent his whole life looking at things people didn't want to see. He carried a heavy motorized drum with his long steel cable. Yeah, it's a snake. He didn't say much. He went to the basement, looked at the floor, and sighed. He told us he'd have to go through the clean out, which was a rusted iron cap on the main pipe near the wall. When he loosened that cap, a geyser of gray water shot out, splashing across his boots. He didn't even flinch. He just started feeding the cable into the hose. The machine made a loud rhythmic thwack, thwack, thwack sound that vibrated through the whole house. I stayed down there with him, mostly just to hold the flashlight. For 45 minutes, he fought with the pipe, and he would pull the cable back, and it would be covered in black sludge and what looked like white grease. Cooking fat and roots, he muttered. And then someone just put something heavy down the line that shouldn't have been there. I didn't say it was my grandmother. I just watched the cable spin. Suddenly, there was a sound like a giant straw reaching the bottom of a milkshake. A loud, sucking gurgle. The water on the floor didn't disappear instantly, but the pressure behind the cleanout died down. The backup had been broken. Gary spent another half hour cleaning his cable and putting tools away. He charged my father a large amount of money, which my father paid in cash just to get him out. After he left, the real work began. Dinner was ruined, or at least our appetite was. The turkey was cold, the mashed potatoes had gone stiff. We didn't eat in the dining room. We ended up making plates and sitting in the living room, spread out away from the smell. Oh my God, dude. I spent the next 3 hours with a mop bucket of bleach. I scrubbed the concrete until my arms ached and my eyes stung from the fumes. My grandmother was the only one who ate a full meal. She sat at the small kitchen table, slowly cutting her turkey and chewing with her eyes closed. She seemed completely at peace, as if the last 4 hours of chaos and filth had happened in a different house to different people. When she was done, she wiped her mouth with a napkin, stood up, and asked me to help her to her car so her and my uncle could drive home. I walked her down to the front steps, holding her elbow. She was so light, almost like she was made of paper. She didn't mention the toilet. She didn't mention the basement. She just thanked us for the lovely meal and said she'd see us at Christmas. I watched the car pull away, and when I went back inside, I picked up the mop and went back down to the basement. The rest of the night was spent in silence. The house smelled like bleach and old sewer air, a combination that makes you feel like you can never quite get clean. We didn't do the dishes in the sink. We were too afraid to use the water, even though Gary said it was fine. We just stacked them in plastic tubs. My father sat on the basement stairs for a long time, just looking at the spot where the water had been. It wasn't the Thanksgiving we planned, but it was the one that we had. It was a reminder that under the surface of our clean, decorated lives, there was a whole system of old pipes and hidden waste that could come back at any moment, especially when a 90-year-old woman is involved. After Gary left, there was a brief, fragile window of time where we thought the crisis had passed. The house was quiet, save for the hum of the fridge and the distant sound of the wind. We had cleaned the basement as best we could with the only few towels that weren't already ruined, and the smell of bleach was fighting a losing battle against the heavy, damp scent of the sewer. My grandfather, who was 92, had spent most of the afternoon napping in the den. He had missed the arrival of the plumber and the chaos in the basement entirely. Around 8 o'clock, just as we were starting to think about finally relaxing, he stood up and made his way toward the same hallway bathroom. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, thank you, Yoda Balls. Thank you. I want to be rude, but I'd be terrified about that. Yeah, dude. I wonder how it went today. We all froze. My mother looked up from the kitchen table, his fork halfway to his mouth. My mother stopped mid-sentence. We watched him shuffle down the hall, his movements slow and rhythmic. He entered the bathroom and clicked the lock. For a moment, no one moved. We sat in tense silence, listening to the muffled sounds behind the door. We told ourselves it would be fine. The pipes were clear. Gary had just ran the snake all the way to the street. There's no way it could happen twice. 10 minutes had passed. 15. When the toilet finally flushed, it didn't sound right. It didn't have that sharp, clean suction of a working drain. Instead, it was a long, slow, struggling, a deep glug, glug, glug that seemed to vibrate through the floorboards under our feet. My grandfather came out a moment later, looking tired but unbothered. He walked past us and headed toward the bedroom for the night. I didn't even wait for someone to tell me. I grabbed the flashlight and headed straight for the basement stairs. As soon as I opened the door, I knew. The sound of water dripping was clear and steady. At the bottom of the stairs, the nightmare had returned, but this time it was worse. The floor drain wasn't just oozing, it was erupting. A thick, dark fountain of waste was bubbling up with a force that suggested the main line hadn't just been blocked but had been completely overwhelmed again. The second backup felt different than the first. The first one felt like an accident, like a fluke of old age and old pipes. This one felt like a systemic failure. I stood on the bottom step, watching the gray water creep across the concrete floor toward the water heater. It was moving faster this time. The smell was sharper, more metallic and raw. I called out to my father, and I heard his heavy footsteps above me. He came to the top of the stairs, looked down, and didn't say a word. He just leaned his forehead against the doorframe. We had to call Gary back. When he answered the phone, he didn't sound surprised. It just sounded expensive. He arrived 40 minutes later, his face set in a grim expression. He didn't even bring his small tools this time. He went straight for the heavy-duty industrial auger. 2 in 1 day, he muttered, shaking his head. That's a lot of stress on an old system. Holy shit. Yeah, no kidding. I'd make a home insurance. Yeah, just bulldoze the house at this point. That's fucking crazy. He He spent the next 2 hours in the basement, the machine screaming as it ground through whatever new obstruction had logged itself in the cast iron. The rest of the night was a blur of exhaustion. We didn't eat the leftovers. We didn't talk about the holiday. We just stood in different corners of the house listening to the plumber work. By the time the drains finally cleared for the second time, it was nearly midnight. Holy shit. The basement was a total loss. The drywall at the base of the stairs was soaked. Oh, you got to demo that. And the smell had moved into the upholstery of the furniture upstairs. Holy shit. We eventually went to bed, but no one slept. Every time the house creaked or a pipe settled, I found myself sitting up in the dark, listening for the sound of water rising. My grandfather slept soundly, unaware that he and my grandmother had, in the span of 6 hours, effectively dismantled the plumbing of the family home. We were left with a quiet, hollow house, a massive bill, and the realization that things were changing in ways a plumber snake couldn't fix. Fuck. This is a lot. This is good, but this is a lot. The house felt smaller for the second time. It was as if the walls had absorbed the stress of the day and were leaning in on us. My father and I stayed in the basement long after Gary had packed up his machine for the second time. The plumber had charged us even more for the late night return, and the receipt sat on the washing machine, the ink looking dark and stark under the bare yellow light bulb. We stood in the center of the concrete floor, surrounded by the remnants of the backup. The fans were running again, but they felt useless. The air was too heavy with moisture to be moved around. I'm losing my voice. Around 1 a.m, my father picked up a push broom. He didn't say anything. He just started pushing the remaining puddles toward the drain. I grabbed a bucket and a fresh gallon of bleach. This was the third gallon we had opened that day. The smell of chlorine was so strong it made my eyes water, but it was better than what it was covering up. We worked in a slow, rhythmic silence. My grandfather was asleep at the other end of the house, his breathing likely as steady and unconcerned as it always was. It was strange to think about how much damage could be done by two people who were simply living their lives unaware of the structural limits of the world around them. There's like 4 more pages of this. Okay. We eventually went upstairs. We walked through the kitchen like we're walking through a graveyard of a celebration. The turkey carcass was still on the counter. The meat was now cold and rubbery. The rolls had gone hard. Okay, we got it. I was carrying the basement on my skin. I listened to the silence of the house. It was a heavy, artificial silence. Usually you hear the house. Okay. I must have drifted off for a few hours because the next thing I knew, the sun was coming through the blinds. It was Friday morning, the Black Friday everyone usually spends at the mall. Okay. I went to the kitchen and my grandfather was already there. He was sitting at the table wearing his robe, looking through the paper. Morning, he said in a scratchy voice. Is there any coffee? My mother was standing by the sink. She looked like she hadn't slept at all. The water's off, she said quietly. We have to keep it off until the main line settles. He looked confused. The water? Why? There was a problem with the pipes last night, she explained, her voice remarkably calm despite everything. The sewer backed up. My grandfather just shook his head. Old houses, they don't build them like they used to. My pipes at home never gave me trouble. He didn't remember. He didn't remember the walk to the bathroom or the sound the toilet made. He didn't even realize that he was the one who had finished what my grandmother started. It was kind of a strange it was a strange kind of mercy for him, I suppose, but for us, it was a heavy burden to carry. The rest of the morning was okay. There's a whole lot more to this. We didn't have a big dinner that Friday. We ate sandwiches. Okay. Spent the final hours that Friday evening sitting on the back porch. The air was cold and the sun was setting, casting long orange shadows. I got 29 more emails in my inbox. Even if it involved a sewer backup and a triple rate plumber, it was just life unfolding in a very literal, physical way. The pipes were clear for now, and the house was quiet. That was enough. That's a fucking crazy story. I don't think it was so much like the old people blowing up the toilets. That sounds like to me like it's fucking tree roots and shit and bad fucking plumbing. Well, old plumbing. All right, how are you? Very shitmish. Oh, guys, we got a voicemail.
What?
Very high quality call there. Okay. Robert Bacon, I clogged the toilet at my ex's place. Guys, if it's 3 pages, okay. Sometimes less is more. So to really understand why this is such a catastrophe, you have to realize that Sarah's apartment is one of those old pre-war buildings where the plumbing just feels like it's being held together by nothing but hope and a few layers of lead paint. The pipes don't just carry water, they carry groan. They have a personality, and Sarah, being the person she is, always kept the bathroom looking like a page out of a home decor magazine. She had these tiny little white towels that were so soft, and I felt guilty even looking at them, and glass jar of decorative seashells that served no purpose other than to look expensive. It is the last place on earth you wanted to commit a plumbing crime. I woke up on a Tuesday, and the first thing I noticed was that my radiator was making this high-pitched whistling sound, like a tea kettle that never quite reaches a boil. I spent a good 20 minutes just staring at it, wondering if I should call my landlord. But then I remembered that Sarah still had my favorite gray hoodie, the one with the frayed strings that fits perfectly, and my good headphones. We'd been broken up for about 3 weeks, which is that weird middle ground where you aren't over it, but initial crying in the shower phase has transitioned into a mildly annoyed but still checking their Instagram story phase. All right. Zach. Well, I hope you jack off. Have a good Christmas. Merry Shitmas. Happy birthday. I sent her a text around 11 and tried to make it sound breezy, like I didn't care at all. I typed out, hey, can I grab my stuff? But I then deleted it because it sounded too demanding. No, that's your shit. Then I tried, hope you're good. Let me know when I can swing by. But that felt too friendly. I finally settled on, need my headphones today. You around? She didn't reply for 3 hours. I spent those 3 hours pacing my apartment, eating a bag of slightly stale pretzels, thinking about how she would always complain that I never put the cap back on the toothpaste. It's the funny things you remember when you're waiting for a text back. When she finally replied, she just said, I'm going to the gym at 4. I'll leave the door unlocked. Just be quick. That was my window. I figured I'd be in and out in 5 minutes. On the way over, I stopped at this gas station because I realized I hadn't actually eaten a real meal. And I saw that they had these mega beef bean burritos under the heat lamp. I know. Nobody should ever eat a burrito from a place like that, but that also sells windshield wiper fluid. But I was hungry and stressed. I ate it in the car while sitting in traffic on the bridge. By the time I pulled up to her street, I was already starting to feel a dull, heavy sensation in my guts. But I ignored it because I wanted to get the hoodie and get the hell out of there before she came back from her workout. McCain, how are you? Hello. Welcome in. Okay. I walked up to the stairs of her place feeling like a secret agent or something. The spare key wasn't under the mat anymore, but like she said, the door was unlocked. The apartment felt different. It smelled like a different laundry detergent, and she just moved the fern we bought together from the window to the bookshelf. It's a trip how someone could just rearrange their life to fit you out of it so fast. Yeah, that freaking sucks. It is what it is, though, pimp. I found my headphones on the kitchen counter, and the hoodie was folded neatly on the arm of the couch. I grabbed them and was halfway to the door when the gas station burrito decided to say adios. It was an emergency, not a maybe I think I can make it home emergency, but a code red, seek immediate shelter situation. I ducked into the bathroom. I felt bad for a second, but I thought, hey, I paid half the rent here for a year. Holy shit, dude. Wangzhou. Hello. Merry Shitmas. Yeah, you're entitled to that bathroom. It was a quiet afternoon. I could hear the neighbor's dog barking outside, the sound of a distant lawnmower. Inside that bathroom, though, it was a battle. After about 10 minutes, I felt a massive sigh of relief. I stood up, adjusted my hoodie, and reached for the silver handle. I remember thinking what I was going to have for dinner later. I was thinking about maybe watching a movie. I gave the handle a firm, confident push. The water started to swirl. It was a good, strong flow at first, but then something shifted. The sound went from a deep glug to a very shallow, panicked hiss. Oh my God, I know that sound. Wow. I think we all do. My heart skipped a beat. I watched as the water. I should have walked out of there. My heart skipped a beat. I watched as the water level, which usually drops out of sight, stayed exactly where it was. And then it started to climb. It didn't rush up. It rose with a terrifying, slow dignity. I picked up a piece of toilet paper and carried it upward like a tiny white flag of surrender. I stared at it, praying to God I usually don't talk to, asking for the laws of physics to just kick in for a second. It stopped right at the very edge. If I had breathed on the water, it would have spilled onto her pristine white tiled floor. I looked around frantically. My eyes darted to the cabinet under the sink. I pulled it open, but all she had were organized bins of skincare products, some extra rolls of expensive soft toilet paper, and a blow dryer. No plunger. I checked behind the door. Nothing but a fluffy pink bathrobe. I checked the little closet in the hallway. Just vacuum attachments and winter coats. I realized with a sinking feeling in my chest that in the 2 years we lived together, I was always the one who dealt with the house stuff. And I must have taken the plunger when I moved out. I stood there in the silence of her apartment, staring at a toilet which was filled to the brim with my own bad decisions and a gas station burrito. I tried the wait and see approach for 15 minutes. I sat on the edge of the bathtub, checking my watch, hoping the pressure of the water would eventually force the clog through. It didn't. The water just sat there stagnant and mocking me. I started thinking about the logistics of what would happen if I just left. Would she know it was me? Of course she knew it. She'd know it was me. I was the only one with permission to be in there. Oh my God. Rena! Merry Shitmas. Oh, dude, it's going great. If it was going any better, it'd be illegal. Guys, listen to this part. I tried using a wire coat hanger I found in the back of the closet. How fucking funny is that? That's the second story that we have where people have used coat hangers. That's fucking funny. I untwisted it and tried to, poke around. It was a disaster. I ended up just making a mess of the water and splashing a bit on the rim, which I then had to clean up with a half a roll of toilet paper, which probably only made the potential clog worse. Yeah, it did. I was sweating. The bathroom was getting humid. I felt like I was in a heist movie where the vault wouldn't open and the cops were pulling it out of the driveway. Then I heard it, the jingle of keys, the heavy thud of the front door closing. I'm back. I forgot my water bottle, she shouted from the living room. I froze. I was trapped in the bathroom of my ex-girlfriend's apartment with a toilet that looked like a science experiment gone wrong. I couldn't come out because then she'd want to use the bathroom and I couldn't stay in there forever. My mind was racing through every possible excuse. I could say the pipes were already bad. No, she lived there for 3 years and never had an issue. I could say I was cleaning it with what? A coat hanger? She knocked on the door. Hello, you still in there? I thought you were leaving. I took a deep breath. I realized there's no way out of this with my dignity intact. I opened the door just a crack. The smell of lemon-scented soap wafting about. I looked at her. She looked at me, still in her gym leggings, holding a neon green Gatorade. Sarah, I said with my voice barely a whisper, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Do you happen to have a neighbor you're on very good terms with, specifically one that owns a professional grade plunger and doesn't ask a lot of questions? Holy shit. That's so fucking funny. The silence that followed was the longest 30 seconds of my entire life. She didn't scream. She didn't laugh. She just closed her eyes, leaned her forehead against the door frame, and sighed a sigh so deep, I think it came from her soul. She didn't move for a long time. She just stood there, clutching a gym bag, looking at the floor. I was still half hidden behind the bathroom door, feeling like a giant, clumsy intruder in a space that used to be my home. Finally, she looked up and asked in a very flat, very scary voice, "How high is the water, Mike?" I hesitated. I said, "It's manageable if we don't move too fast." What the fuck? That was a lie. It was a delicate ecosystem that only one vibration away from total collapse. She dropped her bag on the floor. The thud sounded like a gavel and walked into the kitchen. She came back with a pair of yellow rubber gloves. She threw them at my chest. "You're lucky the guy in 3B, Mr. Henderson, is obsessed with his DIY projects," she said. "Stay here. Don't touch anything." She left. I was alone in the bathroom again. I stood there wearing one yellow glove, staring at the decorative seashells. I waited. When the door finally opened again, I heard Mr. Henderson's voice. "Yeah, these old traps are tricky," he was saying. I wanted to melt into the floor tiles. Sarah had recruited a witness. The door opened, and there they were. Mr. Henderson holding a heavy-duty plunger like it was a legendary sword. He looked at the toilet, and then he looked at me, and then he looked at my one yellow glove. "All right, son," he said. "Step aside. This is a two-man job." For the next 20 minutes, I had to act as the flashlight guy. Another flashlight guy. Holy shit. Sarah stood in the doorway, arms crossed, watching us with a look of pure, neutral observation. Every time he pushed down, the water would surge up toward the rim and my heart would stop. Mr. Henderson started making small talk. "So you guys split up, huh?" Fuck, that's funny. My wife and I, we had a rough patch back in '88. It's all about communication and, not eating whatever caused this. Gotta love Mr. Henderson. Finally, there was a sudden violent gulp. The water level vanished. The clog was gone. Mr. Henderson wiped his brow and left. Sarah and I were left alone. I took off the yellow glove and laid it carefully on the counter, grabbed my headphones and my hoodie, and walked toward the front of the door, and she followed me. At the door, I turned around. I opened my mouth, but she just pointed at the hallway. "Go," she said. I walked down to the stairs and sat in my car for 20 minutes. I thought that was the end of it. I thought the universe had finished its business with me, but I was wrong. While I was sitting in my car, I actually checked my reflection in the rearview mirror. I looked like I had aged a decade. My face was pale. I still had a faint scent of lemon dish soap clinging to my skin. I drove home in total silence. No music, no podcast, just the sound of my tires on the pavement and the heavy weight of my own total embarrassment. I went straight to bed, even though it was only 6. I figured if I just slept, maybe I could reset the timeline. Maybe I'd wake up and it'd be Monday again. I'd decide that I didn't actually need those headphones that badly. The next morning, I woke up to a notification on my phone, an email from Sarah. The subject line was just a series of numbers. Invoice number 1092 - damage and emotional distress. I opened it expecting a joke. It wasn't. It was a 3-page PDF formatted like professional business document. The first page was a line item breakdown of the recovery efforts. Item 1, professional grade plumbing consultation, Mr. Henderson's time. $50 to be paid in the form of a 6-pack of craft beer, which she had already purchased. I don't know what kind of fucking beer she's buying, but $50 for a 6-pack? I want to see the receipts. Item 2, chemical neutralizing agents. Half a bottle of lemon soap. I wasted $8.50. Item 3, sanitation of high-touch surfaces, $45. Item 4, the hoodie tax, a convenience fee for holding my property until it was misused, $100. The second, no, I'm glad you guys fucking broke up. You should have just left that shit in there. The second page was even worse. It was a hazard assessment report. She had actually taken photos, not of the mess, thank God, but of the bathroom after I left, with red circles around micro splashes on her white towels that I hadn't even noticed. She included a link to a high-end cleaning service and a quote for a full room deep clean and exorcism. She's fucking nuts. The third page was just a single sentence in size 24 bold font in caps. Do not ever eat at that gas station again. But it didn't stop there. Below the invoice, she had written a lengthy impact statement. She explained that because of the incident, she had to cancel her dinner plans with her sister because she was too busy helping Mr. Henderson navigate the clog of the century. She mentioned that the lemon soap I used was actually a limited edition organic blend that she'd bought at a farmer's market in Vermont, and that my crude attempts at DIY plumbing with a coat hanger had left a scratch on the bottom of the porcelain that she would see in her nightmares. I'd spent about an hour just staring at the PDF, and I thought about fighting it. Oh my God, can you imagine going to court over that? Holy shit, that would be great. I thought about replying with a long email about how the pipes were old and it wasn't entirely my fault. I even started typing a sentence about how the burrito was a victim of circumstance, but I then remembered the look on Mr. Henderson's face. I remembered the way Sarah stood in the doorway, radiating a level of disappointment that was somehow more painful than if she had just screamed at me. I also realized that Sarah has a very loud mouth, and when she'd been wronged, and if I didn't pay this invoice, this story wasn't going to stay between us and the guy in 3B. It was going to become the primary topic of conversation at our friend Josh's birthday party next weekend. I could already hear the jokes now. I could see the Venmo requests from my friends for plumbing insurance. I opened up my banking app. My thumb hovered over the send button. $203.50. That's a lot of money for a single trip to the bathroom. That's like a nice weekend trip. That's a new pair of shoes and a decent dinner. But the cost of my reputation was significantly higher. I was about to hit pay, and I noticed a small note at the very bottom of the Venmo request she had sent. It said, "The spare key is back under the rock. If you ever come inside without me home again, I'm calling the police and the health department." Not necessarily in that order. I hit pay. The moment the transaction went through, I felt a strange sense of closure. It wasn't the kind of closure they talk about in movies where two people hang up and move on. It was the kind of closure where you realize you've reached absolutely rock bottom of a relationship. There was nowhere left to go. I had clogged our toilet, involved our neighbor, and paid a 3-page invoice for the privilege. This is fucking crazy. I got up, walked over to the closet, took out that gray hoodie. I looked at the frayed strings. I looked at the small coffee stain on the sleeve, and it felt heavy. It felt like it was made of lead. I walked down to the basement of my building, and I tossed it right in the industrial trash bin. I didn't want it anymore. Every time I looked at it, I would smell lemon dish soap in the rising tide of 4C's bathroom. I went back upstairs, sat on the couch, pulled up my phone, and searched for healthy meal prep and best salads in the area. And then I went to my contacts, and finally, after 3 weeks of hovering, I hit delete on Sarah's number. I haven't seen her since. I heard through Josh that she bought a new high-pressure toilet last month. Oh, shit. He asked me if I knew anything about it. I just told him that old building had bad pipes, and I left it at that. I still haven't eaten a burrito. I don't think I ever will. Every time I see a gas station, I just keep driving. I don't care how low my tank is. I keep going. The psychological toll of a toilet clog in an ex-girlfriend's apartment is something they don't teach you about in school. It stays with you for months afterward. Every time I use the public restroom, I'd flush and then immediately take 3 steps back, watching the water with the suspicion of a man who had seen too much. I started carrying a small kit in my trunk, not for repairs, but for life repairs. I bought a collapsible plunger, some industrial-strength wipes, and a bottle of high-end air freshener that smelled like lemons. I told myself it was for camping, but we all know the truth. Oh, no, you didn't, Clifford. I'm on story 3, dude. People are sending me novels. Holy shit. I even had a dream about it once. In the dream, I was at a fancy gala, the kind with tuxedos and champagne fountains, and for some reason, the only bathroom available was Sarah's old pre-war one. I went in, and the walls were covered in those three-page invoices. They were wallpapered from floor to ceiling. What? Oh my god! When I went to wash my hands, the faucet just poured out gas station hot sauce. I woke up in a cold sweat, checking my bank account to make sure I hadn't sent her another $200 in my sleep. Eventually, the sting faded, and I started dating again, though I made it a point to never, ever eat within 4 hours of going to a girl's apartment for the first time. It became a personal rule, like a religious fast. My new girlfriend, Maya, asked me once why I never wanted to try the local burrito spot that everyone talks about. I just looked at her with a 1,000-yard stare and said, I'm more of a bowl of steamed vegetables kind of guy now, Maya. It's better for the soul. You drink a lot of spiked eggnog? Oh, that a kid. There you go. This is a really fucking good story. She thinks I'm really into health. She has no idea that my health is actually a carefully constructed fortress built on the ruins of a plumbing disaster. One day I'll tell the truth, but that day will come when I'm absolutely sure her apartment has a modern high efficiency flushing system and a plunger prominently displayed in every bathroom. Until then, the secret stays with me, Mr. Henderson, and the ghosts of gas station beef. I did run into Mr. Henderson once, about 6 months later. I was at a hardware store picking up a light bulb, and there he was, standing in the plumbing aisle, critiquing the suction cups on the new models. Our eyes met across a row of PVC pipes. I expected him to laugh or at least smirk. Instead, he just gave me a solemn, respectful nod. The kind of nod one soldier gives another when they've both seen the horrors of the trenches. He didn't say a word, and he didn't have to. We were bonded by the porcelain. I walked out of that store feeling a bit lighter, not because of the embarrassment was gone, but because I realized that everyone has their burrito moment. Maybe not as dramatic as mine, but maybe not as expensive, but everyone has that one moment where their body and their past life collide in the most inconvenient way possible. I drove home past 3 different gas stations without flinching. When I got to my apartment, I used my own bathroom. I flushed. The water whooshed down with a clean, resonant sound. It was the most beautiful music I'd heard all year. I sat down on my couch, opened my laptop, and finally, for the first time in a long time, I didn't think about what Sarah was doing. I didn't think about the hoodie. I just thought about how lucky I was to have a toilet that worked with a clean slate. But I still check the water level every time I flush. Some habits never die. Written like Shakespeare. Yeah, right? That's a great one. My God, that's a good story. Hey, Jay, this isn't my story, but rather my dad's. A week ago, my dad went to visit his brother who has many health problems at the hospital. The hospital is between 2 cities, one with many upper class folks and another one with many lower class. I wasn't at the hospital with him, but my dad told me he had to take a leak, and he went into the stall and saw this massive turd. Now, I don't know if it was a Pringles size can or not, can size or not, but from how he described it, this sucker was massive. Now, when my dad told me this story, he also told me his theory as to why people leave huge turds in the toilet and don't flush them. However, when he said this, he said it as a matter of fact rather than a theory. He told me how these low-class people intentionally leave their turds to flex how big that they are to other people. Now, who knows if this is true or not, but my dad seemed pretty sure that this was the case. Hope you enjoyed this story. Happy Shitmas. Wow, that's a weird fucking flex, right? Oh, take her, Jim Bob. Here we go. How's it going, Uncle Jay? Hope all is well with you and everybody watching. All right, on to the story. I'm a man of faith, so every Sunday I'm sitting in church, and this was my second year of college. So I'm just still there with one Sunday, and the priest asked for people to altar server. I thought I would sign up as it would be better than falling asleep during the sermon. So our priest really likes to use incense, which is kind of like church or bad weed. Which can smell like church or bad weed. Whatever it smells like, the incense is strong, meaning it's great for hiding a fart. One just needs to time it right when the people are singing, so even if one farts loud, no one would know. Oh my God, dude, one time I was fucking on the treadmill at the gym, and I ripped the fucking, it just came out. And I had people on each side of me on their treadmills running, and I'm running, boom, 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 boom. It just fucking came out. And I'm like, oh my God. And everybody had headphones on. They didn't fucking hear it. So I just kept running. It was great. I love the gym. Okay, so one Sunday, all was well until I feel what I think a fart is coming on. So I wait until the singing to start to let it rip. It was a shart, and I should have known better. I was altar serving, so I had to act like nothing happened. And that wasn't even the worst part. I felt more coming. So there was a little bit of shit in my pants, but thank God for the vestments, so nothing was visible. With more on the way, I was fighting for life right in the middle of church service. I didn't think I've prayed harder in my life. In the end, I tripped at the finish line. I couldn't hold it any longer. During the procession out, I had a quick lapse of concentration and sharted again. I had no idea if anyone knew. I quickly pulled my vestments away, and after making sure I did not have any shit or smell on it, and then I hid in the bathroom to clean up and finish my poop. I stayed in there for an hour to make sure everyone was gone, so I could get out of there without being seen with a shit stain on my pants. I guess you could say it was a holy shit moment. Oh my God, that's funny. Core memory unlocked a couple years back. I was at Disney. I farted, and it was the worst fart ever. And I was stuck in the middle of the line for the rock and roll roller coaster. Everybody smelled it. And yes, there was a guy in a wheelchair behind me. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh, that's great. I bet that happens more than you think. Another quick story. This one's more of a piss story, but I'm still in shock. This happened about 2 months ago from the time of this writing. So I was taking a shit in a very small public restroom. One urinal, one toilet, only separated by one of those bathroom dividers. I'm taking an average shit, and some guy comes in to pee. This man's piss was the strongest and most violent piss I'd ever heard. I swear I felt vibrations from this man's piss. It was mercifully quick, and I was so shell-shocked, I don't remember if he washed his hands. Anyway, that's all I got. High fives and boners. Take care of yourselves, fellas, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Tanker Jim Bob. Thank you very much. Oh! I gotta fix these horns always fucking die on me. There we go. That's fucking funny. Dude, my friends made it worse screaming Cliff shat his pants. What? Oh, that story? Fucking hey, that's great. These are good. These are fucking really good so far. Oh, let's check the old voicemails. There we go.
I put it in a poopy and it says thanks.
Okay. Dude. Fuck, so money. Hey, Uncle Jay, I'm so glad you're uploading. Still, you never fail to put a smile on my face. I have this crazy shit story for you. You will be a changed man after reading this. When I was going through college, I picked up a part-time job at the local McDonald's. I worked about 3 times a week from 8 p.m. to midnight. You get some interesting characters that come in. We get drunk college kids, crackheads, homeless people. There was one homeless person in particular that we saw regularly. This man was strange. He never bought anything. He would always walk in smelling like shit and go right to the bathroom. He'd be in there for about 20 minutes and then he would leave. Me and the other employees noticed this guy, and we found out that he was coming in every night doing the exact same ritual. Walks in, goes to the bathroom for 20 minutes, then leaves. We didn't think much of it. We just thought as a homeless guy using the bathroom, but myself and the other employees who had to clean the bathroom noticed that he was leaving a mess every time. without going into too gross of details, the guy was choking his chick. Oh, he was choking his chicken and leaving the mess on the floor, leaving the bathroom smelling. We spoke to the management about our concerns, and they did end up confirming this mess as was always his doing. They checked the bathrooms regularly before and after he came in, and they found that he was the one yanking it in the stalls. Oh my God. We were then told by management to keep an eye on him, and if we run into problems again, law enforcement would be involved and he would be banned. Why give him a second fucking chance? You know? It's fucking gross. Lambo guy, stop giving me fucking money. Thank you. I appreciate it, but yeah, stop it. You got bills too. Right now, I'm up to my tits and hospital bills. One night when I was working, I was behind the register and the homeless man came in. He went straight to the bathroom. Why that particular place? That's fucking weird, right? Here's a little memory I'll share. When I was in the 5th grade, I farted in front of the whole class and my teacher. All my classmates said, ew. When you go to class reunions, people are always going to remember that. They're going to be like, oh yeah, that's the girl that farted in front of everybody. I waited 5 minutes. I went in after him to see what was going on. When I walked in, I was overcome. The smell from this homeless guy was so bad I started gagging. Using my shirt to cover my nose, I walked further in, and I didn't see him at the urinals, but the stall door was open. I walked up to the stall, and I couldn't believe what I saw. The homeless man was sitting on the toilet, completely naked, rubbing one out. I made eye contact with the man and instantly ran out and called the police. Moments later, the homeless guy ran out the front door, leaving shitty smears all over the door handles and glass door. Authorities were contacted and the situation was dealt with after that. I'd never seen the man again, and that was 2 years ago. I'm glad he's gone, and I hope nobody has to witness what I had that night. Oh, God. All right. Ugh. The image of a homeless man yanking his hog on the toilet. Oh, haunts me to this day. Thanks for reading, Scott. Scott, that's fucking nasty. Holy shit. Oh, that's crazy. Ugh. Makes me want to vomit.
Hey, Jay. Love the channel, and I've got a really good shit story for you. So last Friday, me and my partner Riley, we got off work, and we were in the mood, if you know what I mean. So we went to the bedroom and we started fooling around, and I'm pounding Riley, clapping Riley's cheeks, and then Riley let one loose while we were doing it, and I couldn't believe he did that because it just totally ruined the mood.
Yeah, you'd think. I lived in Arizona at the time when it happened. That fart snuck up on me and ruined my sight. JR, it says, hey, I love the Pringles can. You shit out of Target. I didn't shit that out. No, I found that. I came across that. Oh, my God. Yeah, don't accuse me of dropping a shit like that. Don't do that. Okay, we got another voicemail.
How's it going, Uncle Jay? And Merry Shitmas to you. Here's a crappy present from me to you. Are you ready to hear it?
Yes.
Here we go. So the past few days, I've been battling hand, foot, and mouth disease. Worry not. I am well around the mend. It was more on my feet than my hands and anything else. So last night, I went to take a shit, as usual, and what came out of me was nightmarish. It was thick beyond my mind's comprehension, and it was so long. I would say it was about as long as the average eggplant, and 10 to 15% of my shit was like sticking out of the toilet water like an island in the ocean.
Oh, it's
And
gross.
I was so scared to flush it that I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, I don't think it's going to go down. Can you flush it for me? And my mom was like, oh, come on, Raina, you're a grown-up. Flush it yourself. So I did. And to a surprise, it went down. Hallelujah. So there you go then. I hope you enjoyed my crappy poop story message. And Merry Shitmas to you, my friend. Cheers. And high fives and boners.
Imagine asking your mom to go flush the toilet for you. Oh, that's so funny. Thank you, Raina. Thank you very much. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Yeah, imagine people 5,000 years from now finding these stories. Right? It's fucking crazy. Okay, I got one from Nicole. Hey, Jay, my daughter told me about your poop story, so I thought I'd share two of mine. I currently work in a grocery store, and our building is over 40 years old. So infrastructure-wise, it's considered an old building. Because of this, we're constantly having issues with the plumbing in our restrooms. One day, I used the ladies' room, and immediately after I flushed the toilet, I was hit with this very pungent smell of sewage. I went to wash my hands as quickly as possible to get away from the smell, and as I was washing my hands, the smell only got stronger. I glanced over towards the floor and saw what looked like liquefied dark brown oatmeal coming up from the vent on the floor. If you've ever seen the movie The Blob, that's exactly how quickly it was coming out of the vent and forming a puddle on the floor. I hauled ass out of there and had to find my manager, who had the unfortunate task of cleaning it up. My second story is from when I first started working at the grocery store. Within my first week of employment, I walked in there and there was a trail of diarrhea leading from the entrance door all the way to the restrooms. It went through most of the entire store, considering you have to walk through 3 departments to get to these bathrooms. Needless to say, it was a shitty way to start a new job. Thanks for reading. High fives and boners. Oh my God, Nicole. Oh, that's your mom? You and your mom send me stories. Holy shit. Oh my God, that's funny. Okay. Got some more voicemails. I know that manager, dude, never get in the fucking middle management. It's not worth it.
Hey Jay, this just happened about 15 minutes ago. I was listening to some music and I had to fart. And I was farting like the whole morning.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think anything of it. So I just like gave a little push. But I ended up shitting myself. And like I didn't completely demolish my pants, but there was shit in my underwear and on my ass. So I ran into the bathroom to just finish it up. So I sat down in the toilet, I pushed, and I shit out some diarrhea with like clumps in it. And let me just say, it smelled fucking disgusting. It was probably the worst smelling shit I've ever smelled, let alone produced. And I was honestly gagging in there. I was trying not to throw up. It just smelled so bad. And I don't know what I ate that caused it, but it smelled so bad. And
What did you
it was like
eat?
an abomination of shit that just smelled horrible. And I almost threw up. I kept gagging. I literally was about to throw up. But yeah, that's about it. Happy Shitmas.
Wow. Fucking nasty. What did you eat? I worked at worked at Walmart, and the managers are the worst people. They literally can't keep people working there more than a month. Dude, that sucks. That really sucks. You got to be a special kind of person to work at Walmart. You got to have good managers there that are there to keep you positively working there, and keep you going and wanting to come back, because nobody wants to work at a place like that, I would imagine. The pay is shit. Yeah, $14. Yeah, fuck that, dude. I get, but there's like people that that do like nothing but just stock shelves and they wear headphones and they don't have to clean bathrooms or anything like that. I think they're like, maybe they're like contractors or something. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, you were running carts? Oh, dude, that's probably better. Go work at Costco. That's a good company. Good benefits, I hear. My manager would schedule me against my availability. Well, that's when you quit, file for unemployment, and when we had that phone call to see if you qualify, tell them I had to quit because they were booking me against my availability. Hey, Jay, glad to see you're doing a Christmas special again, and I have a great story for you. When I was in my mid-20s, I was hanging out with 5 or 6 friends on a Sunday night watching football. We were drinking, laughing, having a good time. At some point, my friend Ron said something funny that had the whole group in tears laughing. What he said requires a ton of background knowledge, and I ain't typing that much. Thank you. Anyway, I was standing up laughing super hard. Then I walked over to the couch and sat down. As soon as I sat down, I felt a wet spot in my pants. At first I thought I sat on something, but then I realized the wetness was from within my underwear. I ran my hands down the back of my crack, and there it was. I'd shit myself. I pulled out my hand and it had some brown slop on it, but I quickly stood up and walked to the bathroom without any of my friends noticing what happened. I pulled down my pants, and to my horror, saw that I had laughed from Ron's joke earlier and had honked out a little milk dud right there in my underwear. I didn't notice, and when I sat down, I smeared my lipstick in my pants. I cleaned up and went on with my night, and not a single one of my friends knew what happened. Thanks for reading. Love the videos, Marty. Oh, fuck, that's funny. I'm in college, so I didn't bother filing with unemployment. Yeah. So I was in 10th grade, and my closest buddy had a little prank war with each other. It went on for a bit there, back and forth, and one day he went to the library. He left his water bottle at the table during lunch. I was sitting with another kid, and we were talking, and he said to me, "You should take a shit in his water bottle." What? No balls. And I had to take one after eating lunch, and I thought it'd be funny if I did. So, jeez, dude. That's like Cliff shitting on top of Pat's bus. So I brought it into the bathroom with me, and I took a huge dump in it, and I brought it to him in the library. I slammed it down on the table, and they all thought it was fake at first till they opened it, and it was so incredibly foul because there was already water in it. I threw it out and bought him a new one, but the word got around school so fast that the staff eventually knew about it and questioned me about it, and it was really awkward. Yeah, you think so? The funny thing is that the staff questioning me were trying not to smile or laugh at the situation because most of the time they got told about school fights and whatnot. So I wasn't suspended or anything because they never had a shits in it before. But both of our parents got emails about it, and now I'll be forever known as the shit boy. Happy Christmas, Jay. I hope your surgery turned out good. Thank you very much. Was it plastic or metal? Yeah, that's a good question. He just said water bottle. What if it was like one of those those little ones? How'd you shoehorn your turd in there? You kind of left that out. Oh, yeah, if he's shitting a metal one, yeah, that would be fucking bad, right? Oh, my God, another long one. Oh, it's from Gary. I've taken quite a few shits this year, and in doing so, I've compiled 3 stories worthy of Shitmas, going in order from least shitty to most shitty. Number 3, the great toilet clogging. I've taken massive shits before, but let me tell you, this shit was very small and compact. It is very normal, and I believe I used maybe 3 or 4 squares of toilet paper. So there wasn't much in the bowl when I was done, but somehow I'd flushed the toilet. When I flushed the toilet, it clogged up. No explanation, it just didn't want to go down. Now, I'm not sure if there's some weird phantom shitter that took a massive ghost shit in the toilet or what, The plunger also wasn't having any effect at all. I was stumped and ready to snake the toilet out, but I decided to just violently plunge and flush the toilet. I guess the brute force method did it, because after 10 minutes or so of dicking around with the plunger, it went down like nothing. I didn't even take any massive shits beforehand, and to this day, I have no clue why it decided to clog. That's weird, man. It's fucking weird. The phantom shitter strikes again. Number 2, straight liquid. I can't remember what I was eating, but I know I was drinking my favorite beer, Kerr's Banquet. Come to think of it, it might have been some greasy pizza. But anyway, I had heard from friends that Coors will give you the shits sometimes. But I never really believed that until this happened. I had the sudden urge in my stomach to shit, and I had to go immediately. My stomach was rumbling. I had a painful, awful pain suddenly. I rushed to the bathroom in the house, and I got my belt undone and my pants off just in time to unleash this monster that was brewing within. There was no solid whatsoever. It was straight liquid, a Hershey squirt, if you will. But I fancy on calling it the Hershey Fountain or the Hershey Geyser because it had some serious PSI behind it. It was a straight full blast of shit for about 30 seconds until it stopped. I felt relieved, like I just bled all the pressure out from some sort of shit pump. My drunk ass had sat on the toilet for 5 to 10 minutes to process what had just happened, and I was in disbelief that my asshole could unleash something so powerful. I also believe I was on a Discord call with Eastlayer. And a few other friends. Luckily, I was on my desktop, so they didn't hear the awful noise. I'm not kidding. It sounded like I was taking a piss. Honorable mention, the bathroom stall shit scare. I was walking to the library with my buddy Jeremy, and right before the entrance, there's a restroom that's kind of hidden by a wall. Right before we get past the wall, another guy we know jumps out with a look of shock on his face. He says, "Fellas, there's something in there you need to see." I've been in that situation. We've seen some weird shit in our bathrooms before, so we can only imagine what it was this time. The three of us walk in, and he says to open the handicap stall. We do, and the three of us crowd in. On top of the hand railing on the side of the stall, above the toilet paper dispenser, is a large sheet of toilet paper covering something suspiciously shaped like a turd. My buddy Jeremy goes, "No fucking way," and slowly uncovers it. And sure enough, it looked like somebody had placed a very dry turd on the railing. Why? We all break into laughter, and we're about to piss ourselves laughing. We run the fuck out of the bathroom and get the laughs out, and another guy comes walking in. Instinctively, we tell him that there's something in the bathroom he needs to see. So we go back in once again. The four of us break into an uncontrollable laughter. My buddy Jeremy gets closer to it, smells it, and realizes that it's in fact not a shit, but a crushed up chocolate bar. The nuts in it looked exactly like corn too, so it fooled all of us. Jeremy picked it up, put it on the toilet seat, and left it there for somebody else to discover. My thing is fucking falling down here. I scared my mom when she was on the toilet. I wore my Jason Voorhees mask and fake machete. She was scared shitless. That's pretty funny. He didn't specify. Here we go. A night to remember. On June 20th, 2025, it was a fine summer day. I was invited to a party, and it sounded like everybody was going to be there. So screw it, I said. I arrived fashionably late, about 8 o'clock at night when the sun was just starting to set. Everybody was already drinking at a good pace, so I had to catch up. After shotgunning some beers, I was hanging around a bunch of the guys I knew well, talking and bullshitting as usual. Some of the guys that were tending to the speakers and the big fire decided to light some fireworks off. Now, to put some perspective on just how drunk everybody was, the fireworks that got lit all tipped over. They hit people sitting in those awful plastic lawn chairs, went towards the house, the garage, my truck, the cow pasture next to his yard. After that scandal, I noticed my stomach was starting to hurt. Was it the Bush Light? Or was it the eggplant sub with the loads of garlic, cheese and pizza sauce that I ate for dinner that night from the Italian restaurant? It's probably fucking all of it. every time I eat one, I usually end up getting the shits, and I didn't pack any spare clothes, toilet paper, or turns to help my situation. I was very unprepared that night as I went because why not? On top of that, my phone had died and I had no comms to anybody that could help me. So I just rolled with it. I had very bad gas and I was just letting out farts left and right, figuring out I could pass it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, surprise, surprise, trusting wet farts while extremely drunk is not a good idea. I let one out, but this was no fart. It was shit, the liquid kind. And there I stood in the middle of this giant outside party with my jorts on. I just shitted. The first time I'd ever shit my pants in public, unfortunately. I rushed into the house and exclaimed, I got to shit real bad, even though the shit had already happened. And I'm sure it was very obvious that it happened to anybody nearby. I got in the bathroom and the shit stain was noticeable from the outside of my jean shorts. I was screwed. I sat down on the toilet and cleaned it as best as I could. When I had an idea only somebody extremely intoxicated could come up with, I took the shorts off, washed them in the sink with hand soap and water. I did not do a very good job either because I got shitty water all over the floor and I couldn't wipe it because there was no toilet paper left. Oh man, I searched cabinets, drawers, nothing. So I settled on a towel to half-ass wipe it up. While this is happening, people are knocking on the bathroom door saying, hurry up in there. So I finally got out, and this couple both go in. They say, what the fuck? As I walk out with my jean shorts now soaked and also now smell like shit. I walk back out into the party, grab another beer, and just try to ride it out, thinking nobody else would notice. But guys almost immediately asked if I shit myself, and I denied it. After about a half hour of denying, I come to reason because I could start smelling myself, and it was bad. Oh my God. So I come up with a new plan. I go back to the bathroom, take a shower, and in the shower, I wash my shorts again with a combination of body wash and shampoo. I think this time I've done a better job because after the shower drying off with someone else's towel, I couldn't smell shit. I could only smell cheap body wash. So I walked back out in my freshly clean shorts and finished the night off strong, defending myself in my actions. Nobody was really critical. They were just like, hell yeah, dude, and got me some more beers. It came time to when me and my good friends just wanted to go to sleep, and we responsibly we decided to sleep in the big crew cab Ford. I stretched out in the back seat and got maybe an hour of sleep. Word of advice, the leather seats in the 01 F-250 Lariat are not comfortable at all, especially when you're in soaking wet shorts. That one was one of the rougher nights of my life because I really had to take a step back and look exactly how all this happened and how stupid I was. After freezing my ass off all night, it got to be about 6:30 in the morning when me and my buddy decided it was time to get our keys and go home. So that we did. We both marched into the house, got our keys, and left. I was under the impression that in my drunken state, everybody knew that I had not shit my pants. But boy, was I wrong. When I caught up with those guys again a few months later, they danced around the shitting your pants topic before all laughing and point blank asking me what happened. So I admitted to it, and to my surprise, everybody knew. And to this day, I still hear about it from time to time. Though all in good fun, no hard feelings or judgment, just a damn, haha, yeah, dude, that was fucked up. I did formally apologize to the guy whose bathroom I destroyed, and he said, don't worry about it, shit happens. I learned 3 lessons from that night that will stick with me forever. Number 1, be prepared. Number 2, don't trust farts when drunk. Number 3, shit happens literally. So now, whenever I go to a party or a function, I come prepared with a change of clothes, toilet paper, and antacid. And I encourage anybody listening to whoever hears this in their teens or early 20s to do the same. Let this be a lesson. Don't be known around town as the guy who shit their pants and destroyed a bathroom. That's pretty funny. Yeah, you have to have gotta have a poop plan. Oh, more voicemails. Oh, shit. Hang on. Oh. Raina, are you still in here?
What's up, Uncle Jay? It's Raina again. This story is a lot different than the one I sent you before with my diarrhea story in high school. So there's this movie on Netflix called K-Pop Demon Hunters, and there's this character named Mira who was complaining like, "Ugh, I didn't even get to finish my ramyeon, and I wanted to finish ramyeon myself." And they sell it at my mom's store. And I remember picking up this cup called Fiery Korean Chicken Flavor, and it was so hot that I had to wash it down with like milk and juice and whatnot. And I'm sure you know where this is going. So a few hours later, I had to use the bathroom, and oh my goodness, those Hiroshima noodles caused me to blow up. I can't even say this without laughing. Well, in your words, blow up the toilet. Get it together, girlfriend, get it together. And oh my lord, it felt like my asshole was on fire and it was going to fall off, but it didn't. Luckily, I survived and I didn't lose my ass. Anyways, I hope you're enjoying a great day, and stay sick. If you listen to Slipknot, stay sick, you maggot.
That's fucking funny. It's what, like those burning shits where you have to wait like 5 minutes before wiping again. Here's one from Wyatt. Hey, Uncle Jay, I got a pretty funny shit story that happened on Shitmas Day last year. For context, me and my family were in Thailand at the time. I'm not joking. At the PP Islands for Shitmas. That's fucking funny. So we went for a boating excursion that fateful Shitmas Day, and it was pretty fun. That wasn't until my stomach started rumbling. Then I realized there was no head on the boat, and I had to wait for it to get better, but it never did. I talked with my family. I still had the shit. We parked for our first excursion. I still had the shit. It was about 2 hours after lunch, and we were about to park the boat near a dock area where we could swim. I was unable to hold it in any longer, and dropping this shit was priority number one. Me and my family swam around, and I broke off into a shaded area, and I looked. We're getting poof stories from fucking around the world here. I looked around for a hidden spot on land, but all the spots would be too obvious. And it was at that moment I knew I'd have to shit in the water. Oh my God. I went to the most secluded spot I could find in the water. I found a spot I could touch. Then I looked around and saw only a few people who seemed to be distracted. I pulled down my trunks just enough so my shit could escape my ass, and I started to push. It was I was pushing nice and soft, but then I realized I just had to shove it out. Ugh. Plop. I heard an air bubble reach the surface and immediately felt relieved. I started rushing out, but then I felt something floating between me and my swim shirt. Oh no. Oh no. I lifted my swim shirt and started swimming as fast as I fucking could away. I never looked back and continued on with Shitmas as if nothing happened. I never told a single soul about what happened, and I hope you enjoyed reading this tale of why you should always ask your captain This tale of why you always ask a captain if he can give you head. Fuck, that's so fucking funny. My aunt had to take a shit during her trip to Puerto Rico last year. Oh yeah, probably. Clifford, holy shit. Look who made it. She was pregnant with my cousin at the time. Oh my God. Got one from Bob. Hey, Jay, this isn't a poop story, but rather a bathroom story. Back in summer of last year, I got a Planet Fitness membership. Now, this is my first time ever at a Planet Fitness, so I had no idea how it was laid out. I just turned 15 and was done. During my second time there, I was trying to take some photos in the bathroom mirror flexing. However, I had no clue that there was a men's and women's restroom there. I thought it was just one single bathroom for all genders. I know, I was stupid. You didn't look at the sign? I went in there and checked the place out a bit and started taking photos. Oh, fuck. I had no shame in it either. And anyone there could tell you I was taking photos in the ladies' room. Even looking back, the only people I remember seeing in the bathroom were women, but my dumbass thought nothing of it. After flexing in the mirror for a bit, I left the gym. A day or two later, I went back to work out. This is when I realized my mistake was, as before I made it more than 10 feet in the gym. The person at the front desk, working the front desk, had confronted me about it, saying she received multiple complaints about me being in there. I remember even showing her the photos I took in there trying to defend myself. Thankfully, she was understanding and still let me go to the gym. From this point, I only used the men's room. However, let's just say this wasn't much better as early on in the membership. I saw a grown man with his dick and ass cheeks out in the bathroom, walking around like he owned the fucking place, just like in the video you made about old people at the gym. Old people at the gym are a fucking nuisance. They need to be banned from walking around naked. They love walking around naked. Fucking can't believe it. I don't know why.
What's up, Uncle Jay? It's your old friend Raina from the baby shower story. I'm sure you remember me describing my shit as a behemoth of a shit. But have I got a new poop story for you? And it's a really, really gross one. So it was the first week of my freshman, and it was a Thursday then, and I was on the bus, and I could feel like a very, very unwanted sensation in my butt, and I was like, oh crap, I need to go to a toilet really, really bad. But we weren't even at the school yet. As soon as we pull up to the high school, I go straight to the nurse's office, and I tell her, hey, I'm having stomach trouble. Can I please use the toilet? And she was like, sure, go ahead. Just drop your backpack off near my desk and go right ahead. So I go into oh my gosh, excuse me. I am so sorry. So I go into the bathroom, I pull down my underwear, and I was greeted with diarrhea.
Oh no.
And it was coming out everywhere. Holy freaking frack. It was so bad. And the nurse told me to stay in the nurse's office for like a good few hours until she called my grandmother to come and pick me up. Yeah, so there you go then.
Holy shit.
This was really, really nasty, but I hope you enjoyed. Bye.
It sounds like you had food poisoning or something. They didn't want to let you go. Oh my God. Oh, what's this? Wind's picking up again. I learned 3 lessons from that will stick with me forever. Number 1, be prepared. Number 2, don't trust farts and drunk. Number 3, shit happens literally. There we go. I once got upset at my mom's pet rabbit pooping on my Five Nights at Freddy's pillow. How dare that little fluff nugget use the turlet of my favorite pillowcase? That's pretty funny. That's funny. Oh, guys. Fucking. Here's a voicemail from James. Ugh. I know what that sound is. All right, Gary, what do you got here?
Hey, Jay. I've been a fan of your content for a really long time now, and I the second that I saw this that this hotline was available, I knew that I had to submit something in. Let's see, what are we doing?
What are you doing?
Poops in Walmart. What is it? Craziest thing we've done in a bathroom. Last year, so that was like, what, September last year? Yeah. Right? That was September last year, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. So 2026? Yeah. I was in a bathroom. And
come on, Gary, you high?
I was in the big stall at like the ones that they always put on the end.
Yeah, the handicap stalls, Gary.
Let me start from the beginning. On my way to Walmart, and I got to Walmart, and then I was walking around, and I didn't think I had to go to the bathroom at first, but I was walking around Walmart, and I was getting my groceries, like I usually do.
Okay.
But then that's when I went to when I had to go to the bathroom in the Walmart, I went in there and I went into the big stall. And when I got into the big stall, I sat.
The timer ran out. Gary, call me back. This is from Lady Lant. Jay, this is my poop story. I hope you like it. All right. So I wanted to tell you about the time I almost shot myself in high school, okay? You know, it was back in 08, 09, somewhere around there. And it all happened when I was in my teacher, Mr. Flynn's class, web design. And you know how in web design they have a whole bunch of computers, of course, you're assigned like the seat and whatever. So I went on Google Images. You know, you can type up Yahoo Images or Google Images, and I typed in chili cheese fries with pastrami beef. Okay, good ass shit, really good stuff. Okay, so what happened? I mean, I don't know what the fuck happened after that. To be honest with you, my stomach started feeling messed up, and you know, I had Mr. Flynn from my third period, and I had first lunch. You know, first lunch it goes 1, 2, 3, first lunch, and then you have, of course, you have lunch, and then you have 4, 5, 6 after that class. I went to lunch and stuff, and my stomach was all fucked up, man, and I refused. And anyone knows I refuse, and if any motherfucker with a half a brain knows you agree with me on this, I refuse to take a shit in a restroom at school. There's no way in fuck, man. You take a shit, you got motherfuckers coming in. Oh my God, it stinks. It smells like shit in here. It's a restroom. You expect it to smell like fucking Febreze? You expect it to smell like air freshener? It's a bathroom. It's supposed to smell like shit. Okay, I get it. Okay, come on, let's get to it. But anyways, I refuse to take a shit up in the public restroom at school. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I know. Okay. I went to my fourth period class. By the time I got to my fourth period class, my stomach was fucked up. It was just, and I was just like staring because I was trying to hold my ass treats. I was trying my best not to shit myself, and I was like sweating and shit. Everybody's like, "Are you crying? Are you okay?" I told my friend, "No, I'm about to take a fucking shit, man. I'm about to shit myself." He said, "Why don't you go to the bathroom?" I'm like, "Fuck them bathrooms. I'm not in the fucking bathroom. I'm not in the bathroom at home." This is a tough read. So fifth period went by, sixth period went by, and then the main thing that really fucked it up was that I had a class after school. I should have fucked that class, you know. Sixth period went by, I had Mr. Carr, man, and he's like a boss, a Filipino guy, really cool as fuck. These are like run-on questions. You know what I'm saying? You know what I understand? Okay. I'm trying not to shit on the floor. This is hard to read. So he's looking like, "Okay, man, I understand. I'm looking like, "Motherfucker, I'm glad you understand. You know, he's like looking like, "All right, man, I'll get somebody up to take." I'm looking like, "My man, I appreciate it." You know what I'm saying? This is like impossible to read. Okay, well, thanks for the email. That was tough. That was really tough. All right, guys, we're fucking about ready to wrap it up here. Got a voicemail from Brad. Nothing but voicemails now.
So I went to it was a newer store. It's not newer. It's just one that I haven't been in before. But I saw this pack of sugar-free gummy bears. And I thought, how bad could it be? They were pretty low. I think it was maybe 5 calories per serving.
Who cares? Don't eat those.
I bought them and I went home with them, and I watched a newer movie. I watched one battle after another with Leonardo DiCaprio, which
heard it sucks.
It's okay, but
I heard it sucks.
But before I even fully knew it, I'd finished the entire bag of gummy bears.
Oh, fuck.
And, once I realized that, I just kind of kept watching the movie. And it felt like it was a fart, but it wasn't. I had one of those ones that betray you. it felt like xenomorph blood was pouring right out of my asshole. It burned, and it was uncomfortably viscous. So I got shit in my pants, and I saw a really subpar movie. Thanks.
That's a great one. Oh, man. The steakhouse incident. A couple weeks ago, we decided to cruise out to Ryan's Steakhouse for dinner. It was a Wednesday night, which means that macaroni and beef was on the hot bar. Indeed, the only night of that week that it served. Wednesday night is also a kids' night at Ryan's, complete with Dizzy the Clown wandering from table to table, entertaining the little bastards. It may seem like the events about to be told have little connection to those two circumstances, but we'll all be clear in a moment. We went through the line and placed our orders for the all-you-can-eat hot bar and then sat down as far away from the front of the restaurant as possible in order to keep the density of kids down a bit. Then I started my move to the hot bar. Plate after plate of macaroni and beef were consumed that evening. And I tell you, in all 4 heaping plates of pseudo-Italian ambrosia were shoved into my belly. I was sated, perhaps a bit too much, however. I had not really been feeling that well that day, and with a bit of gas and such, by the time I'd eaten 4 overwhelmed plates of food, I was in real trouble. There was so much pressure on my diaphragm that I was having trouble breathing. At the same time, the downward pressure was building. At first, I thought it was only gas, which could have been passed in batches right at the table without too much concern. Unfortunately, that was not to be. After a minute or so, it was clear that I was dealing with explosive diarrhea. It's amazing how grease can make its way through your intestines faster than the food, which spawned the grease to begin with, but I digress. I got up from the table and made my way to the bathroom. Upon entering, I saw 2 sinks immediately inside the door, 2 urinals just to the right of the sinks, and 2 toilet stalls against the back wall. One of them was a handicapped bathroom. Now, normally, I would have gone to the handicap stall since I like to stretch out a bit when I take a good shit, but in this case, the door lock was broken. Fuck! And the only thing I hate worse than my wife telling me to stop cutting my toenails with a pair of diagonal wire cutters is having someone walk in on me when I'm taking a shit. Fair enough. I went to the normal stall. In retrospect, I probably should have gone to the large handicap stall, even though the door would not lock, because that bit of time lost in making the stall switch proved to be too much under the circumstances. By the time I walked into the regular stall, the pressure on my ass was reaching biblical proportions. I began the move. For those women who may be hearing this, let me take a moment to explain the move. Men know exactly what their bowels are up to at any given second. And when the time comes to empty the cache, a sequence of psychological events occur that cannot be stopped under any circumstances. There is a move men make that involves simultaneously approaching the toilet, beginning the body to turn to position one's ass towards said toilet, hooking one's fingers into one's waistline, pulling the pants down while beginning to squat at the same time. It's a very fluid motion that, when performed properly, results in a flawless expulsion of shit at the exact same second that one's ass is properly placed on the toilet. Sometimes you don't make it on the toilet. Done properly, it even ensures that the chode is properly inserted into the front rim of the toilet in the event that the shit stream lets loose at the same time. It is truly a picture of coordination rivaling that of the skilled ballet dancer. I was about halfway into the move when I looked down at the floor and saw a pile of vomit that had been previously expelled by one of those little shits attending the kids' night. It was mounted up on the corner, so I did not notice when I first walked into the stall. Normally, I would not have been bothered by such a thing, but I'd eaten so much and the pressure upward was so intense that I hit a rarely experienced gag reflex. Once that reflex started, combined with the intense pressure upward caused by the bloated stomach, 4 plates of macaroni and beef started coming up for a rematch. What happened next was so quick that the exact sequence of events are a bit fuzzy, but I will try and reconstruct them as best as I can. In the moment of impeding projectile vomiting, my attention was diverted from the goings-on at the other end. To put a freeze frame on the situation, I was half crouched down to the toilet, pants pulled up to my knees with a load of vomit coming up through my esophagus. Now, most of you know what vomiting takes precedence over shit, no matter what it is about to come slamming out your ass. It is apparently an evolutionary thing, since shitting will not kill you, but vomiting takes a presence of mind to accomplish, so that you do not aspirate any food into the bronchial tubes and perhaps choke to death. My attention was thus diverted. At that very split second, my ass exploded in what could only be described as a wake, as in a newspaper headline along the lines of 30,000 killed in the wake typhoon Fifi or something similar. And what seemed to be the most suitably measured in cubic feet, an enormous plug of shit, the consistency of thick mud, with embedded pockets of greasy liquid, came flying out of my ass. But remember, I was only halfway down to the toilet at this moment. The shit wave was of such force, and my wife's cooking in the kitchen. She's laughing. It was such force and of just such an angle in relation to the back curve of the toilet seat that it ricocheted off the back of the seat and slammed into the wall at an angle of incidence equal to the angle of which initially hit the toilet seat. Then I sat down. Recall that when that moment occurred, I was halfway to sitting anyway, and had actually reached the point of no return. Yeah, we called it the event horizon. I've always considered myself as a relatively stable gravitationally, but when you get beyond a certain point, you're going down no matter how limber you are. Needless to say, the shit wave, though of considerable force, was not so sufficient as to completely glance off the toilet seat and deposit itself on the walls, like what you would see when hitting a puddle with a high-pressure water hose, or even though you throw water at the puddle gets moved and no water is left to reform a puddle. There was a significant amount of shit remaining on about 1/3 of the seat of the rim, of which I have now just collapsed upon. Now, back to the vomit. While all the shitting was going on, the vomit was still on its way up. By the time I had actually collapsed on the toilet, my mouth had filled up with goodly portion of the macaroni and beef I had just consumed. Okay, so what does the human body instinctively do when vomiting? One bends over. So I bent over. Oh, God, no. Still sitting on the toilet, though. Therefore, bending over resulted in me placing my head above my now slightly open legs, positioned in between my knees and waist. Oh, my knees and my ankles. Oh, did I mention I was wearing not just pants, but sweatpants with elastic on the ankles. In one mighty push, some 3 pounds of macaroni and beef, 2 or 3 Cokes, and a couple of big, fat yeast rolls were deposited in my pants on the inside, with no ready exit at the bottom down by my feet. Oh, my God. You got clown pants. In the next several seconds, there was a handful of farts, a couple of turds, and an event ended. Yet I was now sitting there with my pants full of vomit, my back covered in shit that bounced off the toilet, splattered on 3 ceramic tiled walls to a height of about 5 feet, and still enough force to spread all over my ass in a ring, curiously in the shape of a toilet seat. And to top this all off, there was no toilet paper. Fuck, dude. What could I do but laugh? I must have sounded like a complete maniac to the guy who had wandered into the bathroom. He actually asked if I was okay since I was laughing so hard. I must have sounded like I was crying hysterically. I calmed down just enough to ask him if he would get the manager. Oh my God, you guys. And told him to have the manager bring me some toilet paper. When the manager walked in, he brought the toilet paper with him, but in no way was prepared for what happened next. I simply told him that there was no way I was going to explain what was happening in the stall, but that I needed several. My wife's dying over here. She's cooking us a Christmas dinner. Oh. I simply told him there was no way I was going to explain what was happening in the stall, but that I needed several wet towels and I needed him to go ask my wife to come help me. She's in tears over here. I told him where we were sitting and he left. At that point, I think he was probably assuming I just shat myself just a little bit in my pants or something similarly benign. 2 minutes later, my wife came into the bathroom not knowing what was wrong and with a certain amount of worry in her voice. I explained to her, still laughing and having trouble getting out the words, that I had a slight accident and needed her help. Oh my God, dude. Knowing that I had experienced some close calls in the past, she probably assumed I just laid down a small turd or something and just needed to bring the car around so we could run out of there. Until I asked her, I'm sure she had no idea that she was about to go across the street and purchase me new underwear, socks, pants, a shirt. And she then started to laugh herself since I was still laughing. Oh, God bless her. She began to ask for an explanation as to what happened when I promised her that I would tell her later, but that I just needed to handle damage control for the time being. She left. The manager came back with a half dozen wet towels and a few dry ones. It's like that scene in fucking Goodfellas. What are you doing? I can't have that. I can't have that. Look at this kid. He wasted 8 fucking aprons. He wasted 8 fucking aprons on this guy. Oh my God. I also asked him to bring a mop and a bucket, upon which he assured me that they would clean up anything that needed to be cleaned. Without giving him specific details, I explained that what was going on in that stall that night was far in excess of what I would expect anyone to deal with what most of the folks working at Ryan's making minimum wage of just slightly above. At that moment, I think it dawned on him exactly the gravity of the situation. Then that manager went so far above the call of duty that I will be eternally grateful for his actions. He hooked up a hose. Fortunately, commercial bathrooms are constructed with tile walls and floors and have a drain in the middle of the room in order to make cleanup easy. Fortunately, I was in a commercial bathroom. He hooked up the hose to the spigot located under the sink as I began cleaning myself up with the wet towels. Just as I was finishing, my wife got back with some new clothes and passed them into the stall, whereupon I stuffed the previously worn clothing into the plastic bag that came from the store, handing the bag to my wife. I finished cleaning myself off and carefully put on the new clothes still stuck in the stall, since I figured it would be bad taste to go out of the stall to get redressed in the event I happened to be standing there naked and some little shit walked in. At that point, I had only made a mess. I had not yet committed a felony, intended to keep it that way. When I finished getting dressed, I picked up the hose and cleaned up the entire stall, washing down the remains down toward the drain in the center of the room. I put down the hose and walked out of the bathroom. I intended to go to the manager and thank him for all he had done. But when I walked out of there, 3 of the management staff were there to greet me with a standing ovation. I started laughing so hard I thought I was going to throw up again, but managed to scurry out to the car where my wife was now waiting to pick me up by the front door. The upshot of all this is I strongly recommend eating at Ryan's Steakhouse. They have by far the nicest management staff of any restaurant I have eaten. I want you at some point to copy this email, go to Google and leave a review for Ryan's Steakhouse and just paste it and give them 5 stars. Holy shit. That is tremendous.
That's the best story of the evening.
That's the best, yeah, that's the best one of the night so far.
Sorry.
That's a great one.
Just so well written.
It's, yeah. We've had a couple of them really good. Okay,
I
guys.
see myself in that's the future. That's us in the future.
That's us in the future.
Somewhere.
Running a steakhouse for people to shit.
No. No. Me buying new clothes.
Oh yeah, me, but
Yeah.
well, I usually keep a change of clothes in both vehicles. I know, Sentinel. How come you've been around forever? You keep saying you're going to send me poop stories. All right, guys, this is a 7-part voicemail from Bob, and we're going to start with number 1.
Alright, so I got the idea to send multiple voice messages telling one story. So
Okay.
I'm the person that told the story about the sink being clogged. So before I start the story, let me just say, when I first heard that story about this thing, I don't know if the person that sent that in is listening, but I heard her voice, and I was like, man, she sounds bad as hell. Like, damn, I wonder if she's high. But as the story continued, she was talking about how she was a lesbian, so I was like, fuck. So much for that idea. But anyway, let me get into the story. So, this happened a couple months ago. It was late at night, I'd say around 10 or 11. And let me just say, when I take a shit, I use a lot of toilet paper, okay? I use a lot. Like, if it's a messy shit, I'll use around half a roll. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
And you've been around for a while, you know that their toilet tanks used to be a lot bigger. It was like 5-gallon toilet tanks, okay? And the government started restricting how much water you could put in the fucking toilet tanks. But my parents' house is very old, and all the toilets are original in it. So we got like 5-gallon toilet tanks. So the toilet paper I use is normally not a problem. Like, it actually goes right the fuck down. So anyway,
Okay, so that's part 1. Here's part 2 of Bob's poop story.
I was going to take a shit, and like, it was late at night, and honestly, the basement bathroom is so peaceful. Just like sit down there and take a mean shit while like scrolling Instagram. So that's what I did. You know, I didn't go upstairs. I didn't go on the first floor. I went in the basement bathroom, and I took a mean fucking shit, and it was messy. So I'm wiping my ass, and I flush it. Everything seems to be going fine. Only issue is, at the very end, a little bit of issue, like it doesn't look like it fully went down. So my shit. So I kind of half flush it, like I kind of hold the handle half open to, you know, if it, that way if it is clogged, it doesn't overflow. And sure as fuck, it was clogged. So I tried to fill it up with water, like all the way to the top, to hopefully to see like if gravity would take care of it. And after a minute or two, it would dissolve. But that shit did not go down. So I pulled out the big dogs, I pulled out the plunger. And that didn't do any good. Like, I tried for a good 5 minutes, like using all my strength. That shit was not going. So I started to try alternative methods, okay? I tried like boiling hot water. I tried soap. I used probably a bottle of soap that entire night trying to get it to go down.
What the fuck? You know what? I guess when you're panicking, you think outside the box. Soap. All right. Okay, part 3. Here we go.
So, you know, I started trying alternative methods. I tried soap. I tried hot water. Tried a lot of different things. One of the things I tried was Rid-X. If you don't know what that is, you're supposed to flush it down your toilets to dissolve, like, tree roots if it grows into your sewer line.
They don't work.
Maybe this would help dissolve the toilet paper, so I tried to get that one down. And keep in mind, it's partially clogged. Like, a little bit of water is draining, but, like, it's still clogged. So I'm like, I'll try that. That doesn't help much. Now the toilet has a bunch of, like, brown shit floating in it. It's not shit, it's the Rid-X. So that just made matters worse.
Oh.
So I tried for a good... I tried alternative methods for quite some time, maybe a half hour. Then I'm like, you know what, shit. if I don't want to tell my dad that I fucked the toilet up, because, you know, I didn't want that to fucking happen. So I am plunging as hard as I fucking can. For, I say I do like a minute and a half of plunging. I stop, wait a few minutes, do another round. So I kept going, and probably 5 rounds out, I'm like, fuck, it's going to fucking get augured. So I'm on maybe my last attempt, you know. I get the plunger in, and at this point, I'm trying with all my might. Like, I need it to go down. Like, it's pushing midnight at this point, right?
Oh, fuck. Here we go.
So, probably on my very last round, you know, I'm plunging using all my might. I'm, like, praying to God. I'm like, man, God, just let this go down. I can't have this happen. And I kind of hear like a water sound. And I'm like, what the fuck is that sound? Is it working? And I keep hearing, like, every time I go down, I'm hearing water splash. Like, where the fuck is this coming from? So, after a second, I turn the fuck around. And we have a shower stall in our basement, like, maybe 3 feet in front of the toilet. I turn around while plunging, and there is dookie water spraying out of the shower stall. So I'm like, motherfucker. Fuck ass sewer line. So, and this point, like, you know, this doesn't work out. I can't do anything to fix this alone, okay? We're gonna need my father to do something, or we're gonna need to call a fucking plumber.
Holy shit. That's crazy. All right, part 5, here we go.
So what I did was, before giving up, I drained probably half the toilet tank, but I didn't drain it all the way. And, like, I just adjusted the bowl so it wouldn't fill up any higher, because I didn't want to flood the basement bathroom, because I'm not telling anybody at this point. I'm just going to let nature take its course. But the next morning, I got woken up by my dad fucking yelling. And I'm like, what the fuck am I? And I remember what had happened. And basically, my dad was taking a shit in the basement, probably for the same reason I was, because it's like fucking hella relaxing down there. And he flushed while sitting on the toilet. And the shit, he shit out. Like, because obviously it was clogged, it like moved up. And like, his balls and dick and everything got soaked in fucking shit water.
Oh!
I was soaked in his own shit that he shat that morning. So he was fucking pissed. And he thought like the whole sewer line was backed up. But I didn't have the heart to tell him that I did it, especially because now he just soaked his dick in shit water. So I'm like, fuck. You know, I can't let anybody find out about this. So
Oh, shit. Oh, Clifford, you made it just in time, dude. Oh.
So anyway, my dad got like a bunch of equipment to unclog it. And I'm still not telling him I did this because I don't want anybody to find out, right? And basically, he gets like an auger and a bunch of other stuff. And while unclogging it, he had my mom helping him. And yeah, like, first of all, it's real fucking kind of strange having your wife help you unclog a sewer line.
Yeah, why? Don't do that. Listen. I paused it, guys. Eventually, you're gonna find somebody that'll put up with your bullshit and marry you. All right. Treat the bathroom like a fucking ship. If it starts to go down, women and children first. Get them out of the house. Be a man and fucking deal with it yourself. Don't get the women involved ever. Fucking ever.
Unless it's a tampon.
Well, women shouldn't be putting tampons down the toilet anyway.
You're supposed to be.
In the trash. They don't go in the toilet. I emailed in some audio of a person in a public toilet saying, "Oh no, not again," after having a nightmare of a time. Brutal. What will the next story event be? I got some reminders that I'll do another Saturday if I get like more than 10 submissions from you guys. I'll do another one. Okay. All right. Back to Bob.
But then again, if you remember this story, this is the same father who made my mother clean up the bathroom after he clogged the toilet and overflowed it. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
But anyway, they were trying to fix it, and my dad's getting really fucking pissed. Like, I can hear him from upstairs. He's yelling and cussing and shit. And I hear him say, like, it was unclogged. Like, he smells shit. Like, I think it's working. And, like, about an hour later, after a bunch more, like, cussing and commotion and shit.
I think I got it, Janet!
I think got unclogged. And, right. Basically, it was fixed. And I was like, hey, Mom, what happened? Like, what was down there? And my mom told me, like it wasn't unclogged for a while because there was, like, 10 rolls worth of toilet paper down there.
Oh, fuck, dude. Busted. Here we go. The exciting conclusion of Bob's shit story.
So basically later that day, my mom had told me that when she was helping my dad unclog it, when he thought that it was working, it was unclogged, but earlier in it, my mom had farted, like, really fucking bad. And my dad smelled it and thought, like, he was getting unclogged.
His mom what? Farted? Or rewound it a little bit.
But really, he was just smelling my mom's fucking shit instead of whatever was in the sewer line. But anyway, it got fixed, and nobody knows I was the one that clogged it. And thankfully, nothing like this has happened again. Yeah, that's about it.
Dude, if you're at your father's side on his deathbed, you need to tell him this. Oh, fuck. Oh, I got an email from Vard. Audio footage of some random person I heard having a living nightmare in the Australian public toilet. You can hear them say, "Oh no, not again." Like he's been there before. I remember as God, where was I? I was in a public bathroom at some store, and there's a guy when they there took a shit, and I heard him say goodbye and good luck, and then he flushed. He's saying goodbye to it. Let me show you guys real quick as we're wrapping up here. Let me show you how freaking prepared I am with my bathroom. I don't take chances here at all. At Casa de Shuffleboson. Here we go. All right, so as you can see, I got toilet paper ready to go right here. Okay. I got soap down here. That's some bleach. I got 2 things of bleach, 2 handles here. I got the plunger. I got the brush. I got more toilet paper here. And I got some Drano right here. So, yeah, I don't freaking screw around when it comes to the toilets. And another thing too, like during COVID, when everybody was buying up all the toilet paper and everything, I decided, I'm like, fuck this. After I take a shit, I'm hopping in the shower and I'm just going to wash my ass. I bought this shower head it comes off and it's got the jet mode on it. And I just fucking, I push that mat all the way up against the wall there. And I just fucking get after it. Just wash my butt. All right. Well, guys, that wraps it up. I think this was a good Saturday. Some really good stories, you guys. If you have any, send me some. TahoeWeather@AOL.com. And I gotta go too. I know I gotta go. I gotta fucking take a leak. I've been talking to you guys for 2.5 hours now. Anyways, I hope you guys had a really, really good Christmas. Thank you guys for spending part of your Christmas day with me, hanging out with the old Uncle Jay. I'm forever grateful to all of you guys and subscribing to my channel and everything. Really appreciate it. You guys are the best. High fives and boners. And God bless. Thank you very much. Yeah, have you and your wife have a great Christmas, dude. It's awesome. It's really good. And you guys make it better. I really, really appreciate you guys. All right. Happy New Beers. And yeah, we'll see you at the next one. See ya.